Hey! So now it's coming up to the warmer months and we're actually seeing sun for the first time in a million years here in the UK. I wanted to do something nice and light and simple looking for spring and summer. I'm going to be using the Bourjois 123 Perfect CC cream, and I find it applies best over the top of a moisturiser. So I've already moisturised and prepped my lips with a lip balm. I basically just squirt it straight out of the tube and straight onto my face. There's absolutely nothing special about the way I apply this, and I always apply way too much at first and it looks kind of yellow, but it's okay, just rub it all in and it looks fine. Because I raise my eyebrows when I'm doing my makeup, the creases in my forehead tend to show up a lot, so I'm going to set the makeup on my forehead in place with a translucent powder to try and prevent that, which it doesn't at all, it doesn't prevent it. I will have them by the end of this video, but it definitely minimises the Grand Canyons that would appear there if I didn't do it. And can we just take a moment to just appreciate this product? Look at my forehead compared to the rest of my face, it looks well good. I'm really impressed by this product, so I guess that's my mini review. I've done half of my face here so you can tell the difference, but I'll definitely do like a full review on my blog with pictures and everything, so keep an eye out for that. Obviously it looks way darker than my neck, but my face is naturally darker, so that is always the case unless I went like 2 shades lighter with my foundation. So I'm going to take it down my neck too because the difference on camera is way more noticeable. In everyday life I really wouldn't bother doing this, but just for your sake, I took it down my neck. Next, I'm filling in my brows with a Rimmel brow pencil in the shade Black Brown. I'm just going to follow my natural brow shape and fill in any bold patches, which is basically the entire brow, but you know, I'm not doing it as dark as I usually would. I'm also going to set them in place with a clear mascara, and I'm not even going to show you the tube because it is freaking disgusting to look at, but it used to be a clear MUA mascara. I keep meaning to buy an actual brow gel, but this is what I'm using for now. Moving on to the eyes, of course I'm starting with my Avon primer, and I'm basically just taking it all the way up to the brow because I didn't put any of that CC cream there in case it affected the staying power of the eyeshadow, but I also have lots of veins there nowadays, so like they weren't there before. I mean, they're more noticeable nowadays, so I need to cover them up with something. Next, take your usual contour colour, and mine is an MUA Bronzer in shade 3, and just take this on a big blending brush through the socket. We're only going to be using Eyeshadow, so there's not going to be much dimension to the look, so you want to add the depth this way instead. Next, I'm using a MAC paint pot in the shade Perky, and I'm just applying this on the lid. I think this is probably best applied with a brush. Mine looked kind of dragon scaly, so bear that in mind, use a brush instead. I'm going right over the top with a Sigma eyeshadow in the shade Grasp or Papaya if you have the Resort palette, and then you just want to blend those edges upwards. Next, take a dark brown eyeshadow on an angled brush, or even just a brown eyeliner or a gel liner or something, and then just take it across really nice and close to the lash line. I use a shadow for a softer look. I didn't want the edges to be super clean or anything. I just wanted to add a bit of darkness to the base of the lashes to help them look fuller. The mascara I'm using is the MAC one with a really long name. I'll write it in the description. And it's not as thick as my usual Bourjois one, so it gives the lashes more of a natural look. You could definitely stop here if you wanted to, but you know I've got a thing for lashes at the moment, so of course I'm gonna add some. I'm only using individual lashes though, so I feel like that doesn't count. I only have 4 left, so I'm not going crazy or anything. I'm just gonna use the 2 longer ones in the outer corner, and then the shorter ones where my eyelashes are just naturally sparse. So then that's that. I'm going to go back to the eyes in a second, but while the glue is drying I'm going to go on and contour. If you go straight in with the powder over this CC cream, it tends to just look patchy and dirty, so I'm going to use cream and liquid products instead. I'm first going in with a smaller brush, and this is the Sigma P84, and I'm just using a concealer from the Coastal Scents Camouflage palette, I think it's called. Then I'm just using the F88 to buff that out. With what's remaining on the first brush, I went down the sides of my nose, and this actually looks way more natural than powder, so I've actually integrated this into my normal routine as well recently. Moving on to concealer, I'm using one from the same collection, and this stuff is lovely, gives good coverage while still looking nice and natural. I don't have any cream blushes, so what I've been using instead is this Revlon Colorburst Matte Balm. To apply, I just smile awkwardly and burn the apples of my cheeks, and then draw on a almost hashtag shape and then blend it in. For my highlight, I'm using a liquid highlighter from Sigma, which came with their Resort palette a while back, so it's not available anymore, but I'm sure there are loads of other liquid highlighters out there. You just want to apply this to the high points of the face. So cheekbones, cupid's bow, chin, nose, and you could do your forehead as well, but I never highlight my forehead because it is big enough as it is, and plus that's one of the places that gets oily straight away on me, so I really don't bother adding extra shine there. Speaking of being oily, I always add a bit of translucent powder to my nose to keep that extra shine at bay for as long as possible. Then I'm just going back to that highlighter and adding a bit in the inner corner and underneath my brow. For my lips, I'm using the same matte balm I've used on my cheeks. Moving back to the eyes, I'm first going to go in with a white liner to make my eyes look more awake, and then I'm just going to go underneath with a tiny bit of shadow to add a bit more shape. But then that's it. I really hope you like the look. I know it's a bit different than usual, it's very tame for me, so I hope you liked it, and thank you for watching.